Namaste, Jagdish here. As part of our conversations on learning for transformation, we are entering episode 9. We were trying to make sense of how learning actually helps us make sense of the world. And we had seen the world has two parts, one the internal world, another the external world. Actually speaking, in a classical way of looking at learning itself, there are 10 aspects of learning that actually helps us make sense of the external world, and there are 5 learnings that make sense of the internal world. A 5-minute conversation certainly will not be able to do justice to that kind of dimensions about looking at the education that is related to the external world and the education that is necessary for the internal world. But it is good to say here that the way you build up the internal world actually feeds all the things that you learn about the external world. How you deal with your internal world is of utmost importance in the modern era. As I remember telling in the last episode, to the extent you are able to pull the arrow backwards, to that extent the arrow is able to go ahead as far as it can. So, the distance to which an arrow can fly is a function of the pull. Similarly, in a chaotic world that's so unpredictable, where the futurologists and all sociologists have been predicting the world which is absolutely unpredictable. So there is a prediction of unpredictability itself. So how do we really deal with this world? The only way to deal with that world is to focus extensively on all the aspects of the 10 aspects of external understanding the external world, 10 ways of understanding the external world, or in other words, 10 learnings that will help us deal with the external world very, very effectively. And 5 learnings that are internal that's going to feed and augment how we see the external world itself. Now, it is critical for us to start looking at it pedagogically as a learning phenomena that we see with children. Children's learning is a series of hypotheses. We call in Indian terms that as Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. Shravana is the ability to consume information, is the ability to listen for information, hear information, and gather information. We gather information through all our senses. We constantly gather information all the time. That is Shravana. Shravana is the ability to listen to a lot of information all the time. Now, the information that you listen to generally stays in the form of an information. It doesn't extend into its own extended reality unless we actually combine it with manana. Manana has several meanings, but right now we are going to look at the meaning of falsification. Falsification means to look for conundrums in life. For instance, let us start looking at the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India gives freedom of speech. We speak of democracy, we speak of republicanism. But how does it really operate in the life? In the actual social lives that we constantly experience, there are a lot of contradictions. In one of the finest examples that I can take of is Lama Suryadas' book, Awakening the Buddha Within. Probably I'm not using the name of the book properly. In that he speaks about a conundrum that he experiences. The conundrum is this. As a Buddhist meditator who was commissioned to start Buddhist practices and spread Buddhism or Buddhist knowledge, not Buddhism, this great knowledge of the esoteric aspects of Buddhism in the West, he started this monastery somewhere in America. And Buddhist philosophy says, no killing. But one of the problems he faced was cockroaches actually were creating a hellish experience to the people who visited there. So the conundrum is this. Should he exterminate the cockroaches so that meditators come and meditate and also advance themselves? Or should he not? This is something where the theoretical knowledge of Buddha or Buddhist teachings has to be met with the contemporary circumstances. That is a conundrum. This conundrum is what is manana. Manana is falsifiability. So if you look at children's knowledge is a series of hypotheses. Each one has its own validity. In fact, you should not teach. You should participate in the several hypotheses that children keep on constructing. Hypothesis constantly exists for children. How we are going to deal with that? is an important question for all of us in actually educating and initiating children into the kind of life that we want for the new world. Keep listening, be with me. Thank you so much, Jagdish here.